Welcome to Income Insight. Tensions between the United States and Iran are among the most serious in the world today. Recent U.S. military pressure, sanctions, and naval deployments hint at a possible conflict. But why? Was it just about nukes, or something bigger? T's key topics. Actual events that triggered attacks, Iran's economic and natural resources, military strength comparisons, global strategic implications. Part 1. What actually happened? Recent military events, historical attack. On June 22, 2025, the U.S. and allied forces struck 3 Iranian nuclear sites, Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan, saying the aim was to delay Iran's nuclear breakout capability. Impact. U.S. officials claimed major damage and a multi-year setback for Iran's nuclear work. Iran disputed the scale of damage and said it could resume activities. Current tensions. The U.S. has sent a massive armada of warships and air power toward the region while threatening strikes if negotiations fail. Iran is conducting live-fire naval drills in the Strait of Hormuz, a strategic oil route. The U.S. has also imposed fresh sanctions on Iranian officials and entities tied to the IRGC. Regional response. Arab states like Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and Turkey have urged restraint to avoid a wider war and energy market disruption. Part 2. Why the U.S. says it took action. 1. Nuclear program concerns. U.S. leaders say the Iranian nuclear program, including uranium enrichment and facilities that could produce weapons-grade material, threatens regional and global security. The 2015 deal limiting Iran's enrichment ended in 2018, and Iran increased enrichment levels, which alarmed the U.S. and European powers. 2. Missile capabilities. Iran has ballistic missiles like Ahmad and Sejal, with ranges up to 500 km, theoretically reaching U.S. allies and bases in the region. 3. Proxy influence. Iran supports groups in Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, and Yemen, such as Hezbollah and the Houthis, which have clashed with U.S. or allied forces and interests. This makes Tehran a strategic rival in the Middle East. Part 3. Iran's natural resources. Iran is rich in energy resources, a key reason major powers watch it closely. Oil. Proven oil reserves, around 210 billion barrels, among the largest in the world. Oil production, about 3.4 to 4.1 million barrels per day. Natural gas. Iran holds 33.9 trillion cubic meters of natural gas reserves, second largest in the world after Russia. This makes up roughly 16% of the world's proven gas reserves and around 45% of OPEC's gas stash. Major fields include South Pars, which is one of the richest gas fields ever found globally, and others like Tabnak, Kangiran, and Madar. Strategic geography. Iran borders the Strait of Hormuz, through which about 20% of global oil moves daily. Any disruption could spike energy prices worldwide. Part 4. Iran's military capability. Iran may not match U.S. military power, but it is a major regional force. Numbers at a glance. 600,000 active personnel, including IRGC and regular army. 640 military aircraft. Navy with about 90 ships, including submarines. Military spending about $7.9 billion, about 2% of GDP. Comparisons. Compared regionally, Iran has more tanks and artillery than Israel, though Israel often has higher per capita financing and technology in some areas. Nuclear status. Iran hasn't publicly declared nuclear weapons, but its enrichment and stockpile increases before the 2025 strikes heightened fears among Washington and allies. Part 5. Global impact and geopolitical stakes. Energy markets expect volatility. Conflict or threats near the Strait of Hormuz typically push oil prices up. Recent markets rose about 3% on risk fears. Alliances and diplomacy. The U.S. sees Israel and Gulf states as key partners. Russia, China, and others have opposed unilateral military action and called for diplomacy. Regional security risks and escalation could trigger retaliation. For example, missiles reaching U.S. bases or allied territory, and draw on other nations unwillingly. The situation is a mix of real geopolitical concerns, energy interests, and military strategy. U.S. concerns over nuclear and missile threats. Iran's massive energy resources and strategic location, a powerful regional military with long-range missiles. High global stakes in oil markets and alliances. Closing question for viewers. Do you think diplomacy can avoid a wider war? Comment bidou?